My husband called me at work. The pen felt heavier than it should have. Maybe because he was smiling when he slid the papers across the table. Maybe because 10 minutes earlier he'd laughed on the phone and said, "Pack your things. The apartment is mine now." I signed anyway. Slow. Careful. I looked up at him and said, "Enjoy your new fortune." He laughed. That laugh is what doomed him. I was standing in the archive room at work when my phone vibrated. Dust in the air. Silence. His name on the screen. "Guess what?" he said, breathless. "My uncle died. 800 million. Cash, assets, everything." I smiled, already happy for us. Then his voice changed. Sharp. Final. "Pack your things and leave the apartment immediately. I'm filing for separation." No pause. No explanation. Just a click. By the time I got home, my clothes were stacked by the door. Neat, like trash waiting to be taken out. The separation papers were already prepared, tabs marked, pen placed like a courtesy. He stood there relaxed, victorious, already spending money that wasn't fully his yet. He thought love made me weak. That was his first mistake. We met when he had nothing. No inheritance, no safety net, just ambition wrapped in insecurity. I paid rent when his business failed. I rewrote his resumes. I sat across from bankers who wouldn't look at him and made them listen. I believed in him loudly. He believed in himself quietly until money gave him a voice. When his uncle got sick, I was the one arranging hospital schedules, visiting, smiling, listening to old stories about legacy and trust. The old man liked me. He trusted me. My husband noticed, and he hated that. The signs came slowly. A new password, a locked drawer, calls taken in the bathroom. He stopped asking my opinion, started correcting me in public, started acting like I was temporary. Then I saw the email. Not infidelity, worse. A draft agreement between him and a lawyer dated weeks before the phone call. Contingency clauses, asset shielding, my name deliberately absent. He had planned to discard me the moment money replaced need. I didn't cry. I archived everything. The shift was quiet. I stopped confronting, started documenting. I reread our marriage contract, every amendment, every clause he'd ignored when it didn't suit him. I pulled bank statements, email logs, medical proxy papers his uncle had signed, papers I had arranged. I noticed something he hadn't. The fortune wasn't fully transferred. It required verification, character review, confirmation of caretaker conduct, and I was listed as a primary witness. So I signed the separation papers. Calmly. I let him think I surrendered. I moved out with one suitcase and left everything else behind, because evidence is easier to gather when people think they've won. Then I made my calls to the executor, to the compliance board, to the uncle's private attorney who remembered my kindness more clearly than my husband's ambition. I didn't lie. I just told the truth in the correct order. The hearing was quiet, professional. My husband sat confident, expensive suit, careless grin, until questions started. Why had he limited access to his uncle during the final months? Why were there sudden financial maneuvers before death? Why did multiple caretakers testify that I was present, attentive, consistent, while he appeared only when documents were involved? His lawyer stopped smiling first. The confrontation came a week later. He called me, voice shaking. "They froze the assets," he said. "There's an investigation." I met him in the same apartment he'd kicked me out of. Empty now. I placed a single folder on the table. "I was listed as a character guarantor," I said softly. "You forgot to remove me." His face collapsed slowly, like a building realizing the ground was gone. "They'll release part of it," I continued, "after penalties, after reviews, after legal fees." "How much?" he whispered. "Enough to live," I said, "not enough to feel powerful." I walked out without raising my voice, without tears, without regret. Justice doesn't scream. It waits. The last I heard, he sold the apartment to cover debts. The fortune became a footnote, a lesson, a rumor that tasted bitter every time someone mentioned my name. I kept my dignity, my records, my silence. And that laugh? I still hear it sometimes, right before I smile.